my doorbell rang at about 4 o'clock. I remember saying to the wife, who the heck would be here at 4 o'clock in the morning? So she was more equipped to go downstairs and see at that time than I was. So she went downstairs, and it was one of our friends, Caleb Goki, and she immediately came upstairs and said that Brian wasn't doing well, and that they asked if I wanted to go to the hospital, which of course I did. So we drove there. Mary's family was starting to show up. They were helping him breathe. They had a bag over his face, and they were breathing for him. And that gave us the opportunity to say, goodbye. And
a high school couple, I think, would be a good way to explain how they were giddy about each other all the time, just carefree and secure in their relationship. I just think that they adored each other. Again, much like my own mom and dad. I think that's how I'm able to recognize that so good. And for that to feel so close to something I had experienced as a child, to see that in Mary and Brian, it's not something you see all that often. As much as Brian and I like to visit, if I rolled up next to him in a U-turn, if he was talking to Mary or one of his kids, he wouldn't roll the window down. I knew what he was doing. He wasn't talking to anybody else but Mary or the kids. If he was talking to a captain or a lieutenant or a sergeant, he would have rolled the window down and let me in on the conversation. But if he was talking to Mary or one of the kids, he'd give me a finger and he'd have a smile on his face, and I knew what he was doing, and I was in no hurry to rush him off the phone. I just would wait patiently, because it was well worth the wait to talk to him and hear a little bit about his day. And he most likely was going to tell me something about one of the kids or his next trip to Montreal with Mary.
Brian, okay, he had a little hair in his head, but he would shave. I would walk in, it was the funniest thing. First of all, he'd get out of the shower. It was like, showers, oh, am I out of the camera? So sorry. He'd get out of the shower, he'd have his towel up. He used to wear it like high, it was weird. Like almost like over his belly button.
We're really checking him out.
Maybe because he had a little pouch, he wasn't like perfectly, I don't know. We were all in shape, we were 20 years old, right? So even Abe was in shape back then. So Brian, if I walked in, he would have the shaving cream like up to here, because he had no sideburns or anything, so he was shaving like up to here, and he'd have the shaving cream down to the bottom of his neck. So he used to shave from here to here.
It's one of a kind. With the lack of commitment by people today, the commitment that he had to that woman, second to none. He adored her. There's not a thing in this world he would not do for that woman, and I know that for a fact. I can remember talking about a funny story. We were at a concert in Montreal, and they have a store called Louis Vuitton, which is a pretty rich person's store. And I walked in, and it kind of took my breath away when I seen the price tags. And I would tease Mary about that. Well, little did I know, it was several months later, I found out the very next week, he went back to Montreal on his own and bought one of those very expensive items for his wife, for her birthday. So, and that's just the way it was. I mean, he would drive back from New York City half through the night, and still have to go to work the next morning early because something she wanted to do. So she would, if everybody would look at their spouse the way he looked at Mary, I think the world will be a better place. You're part of a brotherhood. And Brian's the one guy in this area that I hung out with after work. And it wasn't by accident. I love that man like a brother. I think he knows that. I hope he knows that. And he'll be missed tremendously. And we're going to do what we can to watch over his wife and his kids, because he would do the same for us. I love him. I miss him already.
Ecom to B108. Ecom to B108, Trooper Falb. Ecom to B108, Trooper Brian S. Falb, Shield 1124. B108, you are out of service. End of watch, March 13th, 2017, 4:50 a.m. Thank you for your 18 years of dedicated service, and rest in peace. Ecom's clear, 520, 910.